Well, that's it, everybody. The Miami Dolphins season is over. They lose to the New York Jets. They do not finish with a winning season. And, of course, it was all for naught anyway. The Denver Broncos ran roughshod over the backup Chiefs by the tune of 38-0. Not that the Miami Dolphins deserve to go to the playoffs anyway. They lose today 32-20 to a vintage Aaron Rodgers performance. He throws 4 touchdowns against the Miami Dolphins today, and probably his best game of the season. Both of them came against the Miami Dolphins, which did not go great for them. Snoop Huntley, oof, not good, dude. A couple of picks, couple of bad picks. Dolphins turning the ball over in the red zone willy-nilly. Some bad fumbles. I mean, the Jets just really took it to the Dolphins today. The Dolphins had some golden opportunities and either settled for field goals or they had just wretched turnovers. So Miami ends up losing this one. The bright spots, Zach Sealer with a sack and a half. Jason Sanders keeps kicking. I had a parlay going today, which I knew about a minute into the second half. I'm like, Tyreek Hill is done for the day because I couldn't find him on the field anyway. But I only hit 2 legs of it. I thought the one I felt the best about, I really was a dope and been like, I should have gone Jonnu Smith. But I thought for sure they were going to go for Tyreek Hill's 1,000, and they really didn't give a rat's ass about that. Jonnu Smith finished the day as the top receiver, as he pretty much was all season for the Miami Dolphins, and with another touchdown, 9 catches, 56 yards, and a TD. Big game from Devon Achane, 11 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown. So, he looked good, but they just didn't take care of the football. Got carved up by Aaron Rodgers on just big-time plays, big-time throws. Zach Sealer had a sack and a half. That hit on my parlay. And I had Jason Sanders on the over for field goals. That hit. And I had a Snoop Huntley anytime touchdown, which was probably greedy of me to even add to the parlay. But I knew like halfway, I was like, Tyreek. When I keep seeing Malik Washington out there, I'm like, they're not going to put Cheetah out there. That's great. So it's over. I mean, there's not much to break it down in this game. Calais Campbell had another sack, which was cool. Mike McDaniel lost another challenge. Shocking. He stinks at those. I was really mad at Tua for like the stupidest reason in the world. And it was because he had that damn QB Snuggie on. I'm like, dude, all right. I know it's cold there, but you're not playing. Like, do you need a Snuggie? Like, that was one of the things where I was just like, I know the guy's hurt. I should be not a jerk about this, right? I should have a sane reaction as a grown-ass man to Tua Tagovailoa wearing a Snuggie on the sideline. But that Snuggie is for Snoop. That Snuggie is for Skyler. Why does he even have a Snuggie out there? Just put on a jacket. You're not playing in the game, dude. Why does he have that on? Like, I looked at it the first time, I was confused. I was like, is he active today? Like, is he in uniform? Why does he have that giant draped Snuggie on? And it wasn't a reasonable reaction. But then the fact that they go to him, if you just want to know, like, here is the logo of this Dolphins season, and it was Tua Tagovailoa sitting on the sidelines, probably asleep in his Snuggie with glasses on, with the sunglasses on. It's nighttime, by the way. I don't know. There's no way the lights are that bright at MetLife Stadium, but he goes, I'm just gonna chill right here. Tua, you awake? Me. Tua. Me. Tua. Huh. I think we were just on camera, dude. Oh man. Like, I'm like, why am I so furious at that? I don't understand. The guy's hip is apparently made of pastrami. He wasn't going to play anyway. Like, this is the thing that was crazy about it. It was a busy weekend for me, and I wanted to do, with to be fair for this channel, like the Jimmy Butler stuff kind of took over. It took a life of its own, and I neglected the Dolphins this week, and I apologize for that. But the Jimmy thing was kind of changing by the hour, and I really did want to get to the Tua thing because Tua was like, he did the thing again this week where he was telling you, oh, I wanted to play. I wanted to be out there. But they won't let me. And then it's like, but no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to be out there for the playoff game. And then all you get today are reports that are like, yeah, big ifs, big ands, big buts if Tua's going to play. I mean, it was like, yeah, he's in a lot of pain. He's at further risk for a hip injury. And I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at him snuggied away on the sidelines, and I'm just like, oh my God. And it's tough not to look at that and just be like, this is why the season is what it is, because this dude could not stay healthy. His head injury that he had, they had to be extra cautious on it. Now they have a hip injury. He wants to play, and he's going to tell us, oh, I could have got it out, but he couldn't. And meanwhile, you're looking at a playoffs where, this was about the easiest time the Bills have ever had clinching this division that was full of jokers. The Patriots fired Gerard Mayo today after a year. And I guess the big question now is, what is the Dolphins' pivot? I'm glad, in a way, I don't want to say that I'm glad the Dolphins lost. Glad is not the right description for it. But I do like the fact that they cannot use the bullshit of another winning season. That stat annoyed the holy hell out of me this week, where it was like, first of all, I found it surprising. I was like, oh, wow. It was like the Dolphins haven't had 5 winning seasons in the last 20 years if they would have won. But here's the thing, dude. There's a bit of a caveat. You got to put on your Stetson. It's a big caveat, cowboy, for that, because in the era of 17 games, the Miami Dolphins now have 3 9-win seasons. And every single time they've been 8-8 and have just had an extra win to chalk up and make the record look prettier. So in reality, yes, 5 straight. But if we're living in the old era of football, which was just a mere 5 seasons ago, 2021 is when they started that. So they've had 5 winning seasons, but they've had 2 9-8 seasons, and now they've had an 8-9. They've had an 11, and they've had a 10-win season in the midst of that too. But when they've started the 9 winners, those all had 8-8s with a 9-win season on the line. So they're really 5. Like, I really look at that, I'm like, well, that's kind of a 500 season. I get it. You got to go one way or the other. It's either a winning record or a losing record. So maybe I sound like a jerk. But if you're a 9-win team and you don't make the playoffs, you're kind of a 500 team. And this doesn't even matter because they're an 8-win team. Now they're 8-9. So I say this in a roundabout way to be like, I'm glad that they can't use that horse of like, we had 5 winning seasons in a row. It's like, well, now you did it. Guess what? If you're going to use that, I'm going to say, guess what, dude? You had a losing season, and now all bets are off. All bets are off. And I know that what's going to be used is, hey, the quarterback missed six games. Fine. We could do that if that's what you want to do. It's interesting. I had we were doing the pregame show today, and I had 2 longtime reporters on, as we do every week, Adam Beasley, Omar Kelly. They both think 2 opposite things are going to happen, and I don't really know what the answer is. Maybe we'll get an answer fast like the Patriots do. But it's crazy because Omar's like, no shot Chris Greer gets fired. But that was also with the thing of they finished with the winning season. And Adam Beasley, who's like, mercifully, no more Dolphins. I totally, like, shout out to Beasley. He's like, it's almost like the Knights watching game. Your watch is over. No longer must you suffer through this mediocrity and depression. But he's like, he thinks for sure Chris Greer is on the outskis. Like that's where that's gonna go. But I don't know. I don't know it's so hard to predict what this owner is gonna do. He's old, and let me tell you about the old. They're unpredictable sometimes. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that, with where they're gonna go. But the Miami Dolphins losing today and finishing with a losing record, sure. Mike McDaniel, I doubt that he gets fired because his quarterback was out. But they invested in a quarterback, and I am guilty, guys. And I said to pay Tua, boy, did that blow up in their face. It did. But to be fair, I said the entire time, I didn't know that there was going to be a holdout or not, but I did say, if the Dolphins didn't, I would understand. But Tua and his adorable face with his market is the market line, he got them the buckle, he got the money, and I don't know what this does for them, but you can't feel good about the idea, because let's say the Dolphins, let's just put it out there, right? Let's say the Dolphins were able to win today. And let's say Tua was right. No ifs, ands, or buts. He was on it. Dude, it was going to be like 25. It was going to be like a snowstorm on Saturday. I don't know if it would have been Saturday or Sunday, but it would have either been a snowstorm or a day post-snowstorm in freezing-ass weather, because it's going to be like Arctic blizzards all week. Do you think that had a chance against a team in Buffalo that he's beaten one time? He's been injured more times against Buffalo than he's beaten Buffalo. I just, And so I don't know. You're not exactly in a rebuilding spot. Like, what did the Dolphins finish today with? The 13th pick? So I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't know if that puts you in the primo spot, but the philosophy has to change about picking guys with a bad track record of durability. It has to. And, shout out to Teron Armstead for muscling through and getting through all this. And, but between, Jalen Waddle and Teron Armstead, and the list goes on and on of the guys where it's just like, that guy has a track record of not being too available. Don't worry about it. Let's have Jordan Poyer. Let's get him out there. Oh, he's playing with the club half the season. No bigs. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Bradley Chubb, give him a first round. What's he? He's never played a healthy season. Give him a first round pick for him. Who cares? And now you got is your face of the franchise in Tyreek Hill? Is he on the downslide now? Is he on the back end of it, or is this all just a banged up cursed season? I don't know. I really do feel like in this position for the Dolphins, you can say, I think in any normal circumstances, you could look at it and be like, hey, it wasn't that far away, and this is what you did with this quarterback. That's what the Jets thought, dude. The Jets thought that with Aaron Rodgers. They're like, well, if we did this with Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers plays, we're going to win 12 games easy. Yeah, meanwhile, the Dolphins haven't won 12 games since when? Which is what I'm going to do now, by the way, for winning season. I'm never going to hear about this 9-win. If you want to throw up pride on a 9-win season, you have to win a playoff game now. Them's the rules. I don't make them. I guess I just did. But them's the rules now. If you want to take pride in a 9-win season, you have to win a playoff game. That's it. Otherwise, it's 10-win seasons from here on out. That's the only seasons I'm hearing about. All right? I'm not hearing about, we had a winning season. Oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. So, I'm curious to see where they go from here. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of changes with on the defensive side. Who knows if your coach is even going to be here? Although I can't imagine this game did much for the Anthony Weaver resume. I guess there was a lot of Bears noise around him, and I can't imagine this did wonders for that upcoming interview. But yeah, man. I mean, and even today, it's just like, okay, you went out there, and I get it. You're with the backup quarterback. It's cold, but you're gonna let that team that the Jets packed it in, dude. They were running razzle dazzle. They were trying to hand you the game, and you couldn't win it. And you know what the thing is, that I'm going to look back at this Dolphins season. I'm going to think about like how many games they lost where I'm like, man, this team was like really, they were giving you chances and you just couldn't capitalize. Like I'm going to think to the Arizona game or the Indy game or the Seattle game, and I'm going to be like, these were not games where you were taking on a team that was playing that well and you just could not take advantage of anything. Or you'd have terrible turnovers, or you'd shoot yourself in the foot. And that to me is like, I mean, if that doesn't fall on Mike McDaniel, I don't know what does. And from his standpoint, you know, I'm a little puzzled because, you know, this whole year I just felt like I heard excuses from the offense. I felt like there was so much of a team that was so content playing it safe and so content keeping drives going and so content not taking chances. And I'm like, you took away the only thing that made you special. You took away the only thing that made you different. And I don't know. Mike's got to do some soul searching if he's going to be back here with his job. You know, do they find another play caller? Do they find somebody else to challenge calls? I mean, Jesus. I swear again today, I was like, I kind of think he's right. But then he throws the flag. Like, I kind of think that should be overturned. But then the flag's thrown. I'm like, I know where this is going to go. And I want a no Snuggie rule next year. If you're playing, you get a Snuggie. If you're not playing, sweatshirt and a jacket. No Snuggie, no paraphernalia. Reminds me of like the Hurricanes at the Champ Sports Bowl huddled around the heater and it was 64 degrees. Dude, he's taking a snooze, getting in a power nap. He's watching the season just slip away. He goes, shh. Hey, Jonnu, keep it down, man. Tua, what? We just scored, man. We might win. You saw that. Tua saw that. Tua, like, everybody else, they're like, I don't know, we're not. Everybody else is like locked in. They're like, we're not looking at the score. We're focused. We're going to try and win this game. Tua's like looking at his phone. He's like, 38-0. Time for me to catch some Z's. Tua, what are you doing? Catching some Z's. You wouldn't know about catching Jalen Waddle. If I threw you some Z's, you would just drop it. Why would you say that, Tua? I'm just sleep talking. I'm sorry. Yeah, what an unenjoyable year, man. Really just not a lot of fun between the injuries, the games were bland, still haven't beaten a decent team, look farther away from the Bills than they ever have, and, you know, here we are. Mercifully, season has come to an end. 25 fucking years without a playoff win. I guess it's when the meetings start this offseason. 25 out. Hey, everybody get it out. If McCochin is back this year, 25 after the hour, set your watches. Once they get back from their vacations, 25 after the hour, that's when the meetings are starting. Man. What an uninspiring, unfulfilling, disappointing, sad year